Okay, this is going to be a short video to tell you a little bit about this homework assignment. Well, there's several files, two files in the group homework assignment, and several links that will help you find the information for the car price. The first file is just directions for the homework. If you look at that, you see a couple of assumptions I have. Own the car for 5 years. You should also assume no trade-in when you, no down payment when you get a 60-month loan for the car, and only drive 12,000 miles per year, 60,000 miles total. As far as city versus highway driving, 60-40 would probably be a good split, or 50-50. Just state your assumption in your report. Purchase price, you should just find the manufacturer's website and find the MSRP for that. For finding the interest rate and the price you pay on interest, there's a couple links to Bank of America websites. The first one lists some of their interest rates. The manufacturer may have a better interest rate. Most likely they do. They may also have a payment calculator, or you could use this Bank of America payment calculator. This example here is a 2.34% interest rate, $15,000 loan. You'd pay $265 per month. You multiply that times 60 to get your total of payments, principal plus interest. Subtract your principal from that, and you'll see how much is left over will be your interest rate. The next file is just an example of personal property tax. A couple of formulas. Basically, you're going to take the market value of the car and divide it by 3 to find an assessed value. Divide that assessed value by 100, and then multiply the result times your tax rate. It shows an example for someone living in Greene County or MSU, about a 5.34, I think is the tax rate, or 5.23. So you can look at that also. So it sales tax, title, license fees, and personal property taxes are next on the list. Title license fees are fairly straightforward. I'll show you those links. Department of Revenue for Missouri. Click on this. Several things here. You will look at buying new license plates. Tell you a list of several of the fees. You pay state sales tax plus your local sales tax. This is a list, but you could also use the online sales tax calculator, where you enter your address, hit enter, or hit continue, enter the purchase price of your car, and I think you have to hit calculate twice for it to work. Okay. Other than that, you have to have a title. Title is a one-time fee, $8.50 to register the title, and $2.50 processing fee for a total of $11. Annually, you'll pay a registration or license plate fees. Even though they have 2-year fees, they're just double 1-year fees. So if you just multiply 1-year fee plus the processing fee times 5, based on taxable horsepower, which, as you can probably guess, is much less than actual horsepower. This chart tells you taxable horsepowers. Find a car close to yours, same make, similar model, maybe earlier year, and use that taxable horsepower. So, for example, if you had a car with a taxable horsepower of 20, it'd be $21.25 per year plus $3.50 processing. Total would be $24.75 per year for licensing. Next thing to calculate is personal property tax. That one's a little bit tricky. I have 2 links on Blackboard. The last 2 links. The first one tells you the tax districts, next is personal property tax. And I also have this example here just to show you taxing districts. There's a whole list. You pick all the appropriate tax districts for where you live. This other link tells you how to calculate assessed value, which is down here, says is 1/3 of market value. Divide that assessed value by 100, multiplied by the tax levy, which again is the sum of all the appropriate levies here. Other things you need to calculate here. Well, there's one other note, the personal property tax. How do you find out the sum of the depreciation? There's a link to a Kelley Blue Book 5-year cost to own, where you can click on that link, go to the site, pick a car. They have a place down here. You could pick a specific make and model. You'd want to do that. Let's just say a 2014 Nissan Versa. See the breakdown. You can see total depreciation over 5 years of $6,563. So for personal property tax, you pay that every year. The first year you calculate that based on the MSRP as the market value. the last year MSRP minus total depreciation to get the market value. If you just calculate property tax for the year 1 and year 5, take the average of the two and multiply by 5, that will give you an approximation of your 5-year personal property tax fees. It does assume a straight line depreciation, but that's close enough. Now there are a lot of other costs listed on this site, but they have different assumptions. So I want you to calculate the fuel cost yourself, use their insurance estimate, calculate the financing yourself, as I already mentioned, calculate all the state fees yourself, use their maintenance and repair estimates would be fine. They're based on research and based on reliability ratings of the cars, so that should be fine numbers. So fuel is going to be different because they assume 15,000 miles versus 12,000. Should not make a big difference on your insurance rates. State fees are not accurate on this site. Financing makes some assumptions that are assuming relatively high financing. But definitely use this depreciation value, insurance, maintenance, and repairs from this site just to make it a little bit easier. Trade-in, again, you should just, for the trade-in, that would just be purchase price less depreciation. That's how you calculate this, depreciation from that Kelley Blue Book website. Fuel, what you need to figure for fuels is first make an assumption on how much will be city driving and highway driving. So for example, if you say 60% is highway driving, we've assumed you'll drive 60,000 miles in 5 years. 60% of 60,000 would be 36,000 miles. If your car gets 36 miles per gallon on the highway, 36,000 divided by 36 gives you 1,000 gallons of fuel you would buy. Go ahead and assume about a $3 per gallon price of fuel, which is close to what it is now. So 1,000 times 3 means you'll spend $3,000 for driving on the highway, and use a similar procedure to figure out how much you would spend for driving in the city. For the cost of difficult to quantify, just think about it as a group or by yourself. What would be one way that you could quantify those? It could be ranking, it could be assigning a benefit to those, but make sure you include some mention of that in your decision. What I want you to turn in is something showing your calculations. It could be an Excel spreadsheet that you email to me with your calculations, or it could be handwritten, or it could be a printout of something. I want to see how you calculated the different costs, and then also a paragraph or so talking about which car your group would choose as the best car with the lowest total cost of ownership, taking into account these things like image, prestige, and peace of mind. Let me know if you have any questions.